The free soul is rare, but you know it when you see it. Basically, because you feel good, very good, when you are near or with them. Bro, I used to consume a lot of red pill manospheric content. You know, be a high value man, make a load of money, and women are gonna be throwing themselves at you. But there's something else, something which I believe is more important for men to master than making money. Emotional bravery. Emotional bravery is your ability to connect with your most authentic self and being able to present yourself as you are rather than as you feel as though you need to be. Because bro, I see so many guys these days masquerading as these paragons of perfection, trying desperately hard to present themselves as high value men, devoid of any doubt, insecurity or stress. And look, I did this, I did this for a long time. I put on this act, I tried desperately hard to present myself as this hyper masculine character because I wanted to be perceived as an object of desire. I wanted to receive love from the feminine and admiration from the masculine. But eventually I got to a point where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I trying so desperately hard to be validated by strangers? Like, why don't we instead strip back the bullshit, present ourselves as we are, and say to the world, this is me, take it or leave it. And as soon as I made this decision, my soul became free. I was able to operate from this place of unapologetic authenticity, and life started to feel more effortless. So this video is dedicated to helping you transform into the most authentic version of yourself so you can build healthy relationships, forge strong friendships, and live a life free from bullshit. 1. Radical acceptance. Well, let's be real, none of us are perfect, right? We're all flawed and we've all got things that make us doubt ourselves from time to time, and that's okay. Like every single guy who I've ever worked with, no exceptions, and myself included, has battled with a perceived lack of self-worth, all right? So maybe the guy didn't think he was tall enough or rich enough or ripped enough. Actually, I was coaching a guy a couple of weeks ago who was bald, all right? He was bald and he was deeply insecure about being bald. And he asked me, yo, Kristian, like, do you think I should get a hair transplant? Or do you think I should wear a hat when I'm approaching girls? And I just said, listen, bro, you could do those things. You could get a fucking hair transplant. You could wear a hat, but why don't you just accept yourself? Like, why don't you just accept yourself as you are and say to the world, this is me, take it or leave it. And he heard what I said and he let it sit with him for a little moment. He was quite a deep thinking guy. And after he'd let it sit in his mind, he turned and he said to me, you've basically given me permission to be myself. Thank you. And I think we can all benefit from this. I think we can all benefit from giving ourselves permission to be as we are. Giving ourselves permission to be our most authentic selves, warts and all, because there's always going to be parts of ourselves that we don't like, or we wish that were different. But I think confidence is a choice. I think it's a choice we can all make by loving and accepting ourselves fully. Something that I've actually found really helpful in helping me connect with my most authentic self is to spend less time on social media. All right, because I had this epiphany, I can't remember, a couple of months ago. And I was like, Kristian, there's always going to be people who've got better bodies, who are making more money, who've got a nicer car. I don't even have a fucking car, but if I did. But I find that whenever I'm in a shit headspace and I go doom scrolling on social media, it amplifies that perceived lack of self-worth, which I battle with, my clients battle with, and I guarantee you battle with as well. So what I've done is, first of all, I set my phone to grayscale mode, so it makes it less attractive to look at, basically. I deleted Instagram from my phone, so all of the airbrushed images and filtered facades, I just remove that temptation to check it. And when I'm working, I'll put my phone in a separate room. It takes away the temptation to be like fucking doom scrolling every 5 seconds. And I have a rule with myself. Yeah, so for the first 3 hours when I wake up, no emails, no social media, no notifications. And then the hour before I go to bed, because I find that having this rule, it allows me to not be bombarded by the bullshit, and it gives me the mental bandwidth to be able to connect with my most authentic self. So I hope you put this stuff into practice, because like it's really helped me. I hope it helps you as well. 2, state transparency. So a big part of emotional bravery is to be able to say what we feel and not what we ought to say. All right, so imagine you want to approach a girl. All right, you want to approach a girl, but you think that you need to put on this act. Maybe you act cool or disinterested, or you try to be like all alpha, because ultimately you just want her to like you. Yeah, you're terrified of not receiving love from the feminine, so you act in a way that you think will allow you to receive this love. And look, the word alpha gets thrown around a lot. I think a lot of guys think that being alpha is about never showing emotion, posturing in a certain way, or maybe having the fucking imaginary lats that make you look fucking massive. But for me, being alpha is about being authentic. Yeah, and you become authentic when you have the transparency to be real.
Yeah, I can't make a conversation with that when I'm not feeling comfortable, because if I'm not feeling comfortable, they're not gonna feel comfortable as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think something that would really help you, and it can be quite difficult to do as a beginner, but I really believe this is something that will help you, because it's something that I do as well. What I would like you to start trying is practicing state transparency, right? So at the moment, you're trying to avoid that feeling, and you don't want them to know that you're feeling that. One of the most powerful things you can do is actually let them in on your states. Yeah, so for example, let's say I go over to a girl and I'm absolutely shitting it, which is most often, right? That's how I'm feeling. I just declare it, but you do it in a way which isn't like, it's coming from a place of power rather than from a place of pessimism. It's like, oh my God, please help me, I'm a snivelling mess. It's, yo, listen, I just saw you, and I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely shitting it coming over here. I can actually feel butterflies in my belly. Like, do you want to touch the butterflies? Right, you make it playful. So rather than resisting it, you just run towards it. You're shit scared? Great, fucking tell them. It's an exercise that I want you to start trying. You're not doing it as like, oh, I'm doing it just as like a technique. It's state transparency. Because if you feel it, she feels it, you might as well just be open with it, right? So the next one that you're going for, if you are feeling nervous or you're feeling the butterflies in your belly, just fucking say to her, like, listen, I didn't really want to come over here. I had a lot of resistance coming over. Wasn't really in the mood, but I thought I'm going to come over anyway and just tell you that you look beautiful, because I would have regretted it otherwise.
Have you read the book No More Mr. Nice Guy? Yeah, well, there's a passage in that book, like this anecdote that he shares about this fucking animal in the wild called the bull moose. And I always revert back to this anecdote whenever I lose touch with myself. In nature, the alpha male and the bull moose don't sit around trying to figure out what will make the girls like them. They're just themselves, fierce, strong, competitive, and sexually proud. Because they are what they are and do what they do, prospective mates are attracted. As in nature, the greatest aphrodisiac is self-confidence. And for me, true self-confidence is having the emotional bravery to be transparent with your state, yeah, to say what you feel and not what you ought to say, especially when you're talking with girls. 3, controlled explosions. If you're anything like me, then I feel emotions very strongly. Yeah, but when I was deep inside that red pill rabbit hole, I was operating under the dogma of never show emotions. You need to be a true high value man, so just make lots of money, never talk about the way you feel. And look, bro, I'm not saying you have to be bawling your eyes out every time a girl doesn't text you back, but being able to purge and release your emotions in a healthy way rather than suppressing them and then allowing them to come out in some fucking fit of rage later on is one of the most masculine things a man can do. Yeah, like I was brought up in a single parent household. Yeah, I was brought up by my mum, and one of the best pieces of life advice that my mum ever gave to me was, she said, Kristian, whenever you're feeling stressed, yeah, whenever you've got a lot of tension built up, go into your room and have a big fucking cry. Yeah, and that's what I did, and it's what I continue to do. But again, there's all this fucking stigma, like, oh, men don't cry, keep it all bottled inside, be stoic, never show emotion. I'm like, shut the fuck up. For me, true masculinity is having the balls to be emotionally brave. All right, so if you want to cry, have a fucking cry. If you want to climb a mountain and scream at the top of your lungs when you reach the top to purge this cathartic expostulation of emotion, do it. Or if you want to get a group of friends together and every Thursday you have a fucking men's meeting where you eat protein bars and talk about your hashtag feelings, then fucking good luck to you. Right? Like, there's no rules when it comes to the game of life. There's no rules when it comes to how to be a man. And I think so many men these days are being brainwashed by the brain dead, because emotional bravery takes balls. Yeah, it's where you're able to live a life on your terms, yeah, to do what pleases you, not to dance the music of the masses or be constrained by the shackles of society, but to be courageous, yeah? One of my favourite quotes is from the ancient poet Virgil, who said, "Blessings on your courage, boy. That's the way to the stars." So I hope that you've found this video useful. I hope that something that I've said has resonated with you. Ultimately, this is just advice. This is simply how I choose to live my life at the moment. And yeah, bro, I hope I've said something that at least makes your life 1% better, and you apply the lessons and just become the most abundant, authentic version of you. All right, so I'll speak in the next one. I love you. Mwah.
You stay sexy, okay?